So we have initiated the 4 webinars in order to show you and explore with you the endless possibilities and the tremendous impacts that professional coaching can actually have on your organization, on your leaders, and on your employees. And it is really our hope that these webinars will inspire you and open you up to the many possibilities that there are to actually work strategically with professional coaching, and also long-term and holistically, because we believe that doing that, we are not only able to strengthen your team, but also to strengthen the growth of your company, the customer experience, the profit, and at the end of the day, actually the world that we live in. So we're really excited to be able to share all of this with you in this series of different webinars. Today's webinar, we are going to get unique insights into how IKEA works with professional coaches. IKEA has a long history of using internal and external coaches, and the training of coaches continues to this day. But the question, of course, is how does it really work? And who are all these coaches, and what do they do? What are some of the hurdles and challenges that they have had to overcome in order to get everything up and running? And of course, most importantly, what are the possibilities that they've opened up to, and some of the success stories that they have created along their way in all of their work? And all of this and much more, we are going to explore now with 3 ICF coaching colleagues from IKEA. So I'm really thrilled to be able to welcome now Anna Palm and Mahesh Chauhan and Anja Lindberg. Welcome, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Finally, we are gathered and we get to share our fantastic story with everyone. I'm really excited about that. Maybe we should just start by introducing you all, and maybe Anna, if you want to start to introduce yourself and your role at IKEA.
Of course. Good morning, or maybe even good evening to some of you out there in the world. As Trine was saying, my name is Anna. I work at IKEA of Sweden in the little village Älmhult where it all started. I work as a leadership and competence developer, and since I trained myself to become an ICF coach 2009, that has been a part of my assignment within IKEA. I'm really looking forward to spending this hour together with you.
Great. Thank you, Anna. And Mahesh?
Yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Mahesh. I'm of Indian heritage, I guess, but I grew up in the UK since the age of 1, and then 15 years ago I came here. So I don't live anywhere near Anna because she doesn't like me so much, but I'm in the Skogen, the woods next to the moose. I work with IKEA globally, so I had a number of roles, and today I'm a support service manager, and I'm also a coach and leadership coach and HR qualified. So I'm really looking forward to sharing what we do at IKEA. So glad you could join us.
Yes, fantastic. And when you say here, you mean actually in Sweden and in...
Of course. Sorry, yes. Yes,
exactly.
England won't allow me back in because my sense of humor is too bad, so I have to stay here.
Yes, I have experienced that already. So yes, I totally understand the dilemma there, Mahesh. Well, great. Well, thank you so much. And Anja, good morning to you. This is already starting to feel like a European Eurovision contest feeling. But how are you doing? And good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning, Trine, and hi, everyone. Nice to see your names here on the screen. My name is Anja Lindberg. I run a coach training company called Coaching Sverige. And we and I have been cooperating with IKEA since 2008, which we appreciate a lot. I have been coaching since 2002 and a member of ICF and certified since 2004.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anna. And I just saw Yolanda is actually joining us from St. Louis in the United States. It really is morning and afternoon and everything around the world now. So it's so great. Very nice that you're all watching this. Okay, so let's get started. And why don't we go back to 2005 when IKEA actually started to use external coaches. And I'm thinking, Anna, perhaps we should just establish to begin with, why did you even begin with that? And why did you do that?
I believe this resonates very well with IKEA culture and values. To have a strong belief in people and really create the prerequisites for them to grow and develop. So if we go back to where we come from, it really resonates from that point of view.
Should we take a look at, we have a picture of just the values so that we can sort of get a feeling for those. Take us through those, Anna.
Yeah, exactly. This is IKEA core values. It's about togetherness. We have a strong belief that our business can never be a one-man show. We need each other. And we used to say, if you want to go quick, you go alone. But if you want to go far, then you need to go together. Of course, caring for people and planet, which is really, really important I think, for all of us. But it's really on top of what we strongly believe in. Cost conscious, and just when we say cost conscious, I don't want to say that we are cheap. It's not what it is. Even if I am in Småland, this is to be conscious about our costs. Simplicity, that is, I think, coming from Småland, the simplicity of the stone wall you can see here. Always think how we can renew and improve. And to be different with a meaning, not just different, but also with a meaning. Give and take responsibility. I think this is really important, and lead by example. And if you just taste on those words for you out there in the world that I believe is really into coaching, you can see that it's really resonate with the coaching approach and all the things that we do in coaching.
Great. And when this started, 2005, how widely was the concept of coaches back then? I mean, how widely accepted was it, Anja?
Coaching was quite well known and used in US and UK, but not so much in the rest of the world. To give you some numbers, there were 9,000 ICF members at the time. Now it's 38,000, so it's really grown since then.
Very much so.
Yeah, some companies used coaching, but not in a structured way, and not as part as their strategy, as it often is today. And there were not many coach training companies at that time, so it was quite new in most of the world and very new in Sweden.
Let's talk, and we could perhaps just put Anja in the picture and save that slide that we have up there right now. But Anja, so to begin with, there were a lot of internal coaches that were being utilized, but as that progressed, you sort of had to rethink the concept a little bit. Take us through that process.
Yeah. As Anna said, there was external coaches in IKEA from 2005. And since that increased, of course, the cost increased also. So IKEA decided to invest in a pool of internal coaches. And that was 2008. And after a selection process, they decided to work together with us at Coachutbildning Sverige. So, and the reasons for that was that IKEA's values that Anna just showed resonated very much with our values. And both IKEA and us were also very interested in working in partnership, both with the training and also with the implementation of the coaching. We did the first program in 2008. There were 20 coaches at that time, and they committed to work 10% of their working time with coaching. And then they also started to implement it within IKEA. And since then, we've done 8 programs in total, 5 international 2 in Spain and 1 in France. And there's also several coaches that have done open training. So there are quite a few coaches in IKEA now.
Was that what we had on that slide? There was anything, any other facts and figures that we had on the slide that we wanted to add? Can we look at that slide one more time, Lina?
Yeah. IKEA made a coach poll, an international one, and there are 60 certified coaches in that pool right now. 57 of them are ACC and 3 are PCC. There are also regional coach pools in different countries. And IKEA decided to go with accredited coach training because they wanted the coaches to be as good as external coaches. So they wanted to have certified coaches from the beginning. And it's an ongoing process. So they make sure that the coaches are certified and also that they recertify. They work in community network where they and we together have training, both training to be better coaches, but also specific training like coaching in change, career coaching, CBT tools, and specific kind of coaching. IKEA also now have their own mentor coaches who can mentor coach internally. So they work a lot with that and also supervision.
I'm thinking, I hear a lot of terminology. We take this slide away and I would like to speak to you, Anna, because let's just clarify, Anna, the different terms that we're using here. We have certified coaches, we have external coaches versus internal, we have a coach pool. Can you explain a little bit what all these, what's the difference? Do they work in the same way or how does it work?
The coach poll, we make sure that they are certified, and we should work in exactly the same way as if anyone in IKEA would approach an external coach. And I think that was our intention from the start, that we want to give our employees the possibility to have a coach, but it should also be a real certified coach. So that's what it is. And I know that we have many more trained, but they have for any reason not decided to be in the coach pool because they can work in a different way with coaching, which is fine. But also if the external coaches, of course, we still sometimes approach them when it's needed for any reason. And was it anything more that you needed to clarify?
No, I think then that there was mentor coaches as well. I think that I understood that. So yeah.
For example, when you are about to be certified or recertified again, then you need a mentor coach hours. And for us that are PCC, we can then support the people that are about to be ACC certified. So that's what we do. And then sometimes we just use mentoring when you are a beginner, and I have done it for several years to support each other in the best way.
Perfect, good. Now, another thing that one might want to clarify, Mahesh, is there are, I think a lot of companies can relate to what you're saying, that IKEA has a very coaching approach to things. What would you say is the difference between a professional coach and having a coaching approach to things?
One of the things about IKEA is that we focus on the people, because we have a business, we sell furniture, of course, you know that. And it's always been an essence or a common denominator that if people are developing and people are growing, then the business grows. And if people are happy, then the environment is happy. And we notice that when we say we have a coaching approach, so we have leadership programs that we run internally also. And within those leadership programs, we introduce the element of coaching because we feel leaders, I mean, if we take it back many years ago, remember not at IKEA, generally, the old-fashioned way of leadership was like it's autocratic. You know, you do what you're told and you get demotivated co-workers and people leave and all that. And as the years have evolved, there are techniques, there's mindfulness. So coaching is one of those aspects where we encourage our people, not just our leaders, but we want to have this mindset where, okay, think about the question, think about the goal, what is it you'd like to achieve, but do it in a joint capacity and do it as a group. So when we say the coaching approach, it's more about how do we develop our people? We just don't tell them, we encourage them to grow. So that's what we mean by that.
I see that we have a couple of questions just related to all of this. We have Tony is wondering, are the no, it disappeared. Oh, it's moving so fast. Are the internal coaches full-time or part-time?
The agreement was when we began coaching that we will introduce coaching. We will have, so we're ICF, so we have credibility in that sense. And then it was a question that we all have our day jobs, if I can say it like that. And it was agreed globally with our coaching pool, our internal coaching pool, that 10% of our hours will be dedicated towards coaching. So it's not always that I have 10% of coaching. Some weeks are quieter, other months are busier, it depends. And then we also have these programs that we have. So that's how it works. We go where the need is required. And it's manageable so far.
Anya and Anna, feel free to raise your hand if you want to add things to this. I have another question here from Swati. Is there IKEA supported program that helps and promotes internal co-workers aspiring to be a coach?
Yes, we have. I believe that, of course, as we are cost conscious, we want our co-worker that is going for the external training really want to spend time and coach others. I think that's really important for us. But then to have the coaching approach, we have several different offer for our co-workers. For example, we have everyday coaching for all the co-workers, and then we have coaching for leaders that is more for leaders.
And I think that relates then also to another question from Tony is, what are the criteria for selecting people to be internal coaches?
Yes.
I can give an example. I know I say IKEA is a big company, but within IKEA, we have different sections of IKEA. And one area is a company called Inca Centers. And when I was working with them on a project a while ago, with me and my manager at the time, we decided that we want to implement a coaching way of working within there. So we asked for volunteers, and then there was an interview selection done, because anyone can coach, but I think you also have to have the courage today to ask the coaching questions that we have. And then I wrote to the ICF organization and said, is it okay, we have your permission where we can educate our internal coaches or these people that we've selected to follow the competence guidelines that we have at ICF. So we got the okay with that. And then the aim was that if you feel that you would like to join ICF, then please do so. But you follow the competence, and that's the competence that we have. So that was one approach. Yes, we don't just give it to any old Tom, Dick and Harry. I need to make sure the mindset's there. And then also we cement it with the right ICF competencies. So there is a quality standard check.
Good. I see a couple of other questions there, and I've written them down when we talk about some more specific issues about that. In terms of the hurdles and challenges versus internal and external coaches. So Jessica, I see your question, and I have made a note of it. Good. So, okay, so we have a picture of how it all started and how you've sort of built this base of coaches. And the question is just now, one would want to get a picture of how did you get the ball rolling in terms of internal communication, getting everyone engaged in the area and getting people excited to actually use it? Tell us a little bit about that process. Mahesh, maybe you can start.
Sure. When we started the coaching pool with Anya, so it was part of the original program, we knew we needed to market it because nothing just happens out of nothing. So then, of course, we were coaching. Our target group at the time was leaders. So we of course said, here's a coaching approach. It's what we like to promote. It's for the bigger good of our people and the organization. And within IKEA, we have a fantastic communication network. Internal emails, websites, etc. So that was no problem at all doing that. Then, of course, we have this coaching get-together that we had every 18 months. So there we invite people that give us information about what's happening in coaching. We even had Mr. Tim Galloway approach us, and he joined us. We've had Philip Ronsky. So we have these people that come with their experience of coaching, and then we, of course, market it in the organization in a positive way. And then, as I said earlier, we have the leadership programs where we introduce the element of coaching. So these people that attend, mostly leaders, then they go back and then go back to their organization and say, okay, we're going to start a coaching way. If I forget anything,
what was what was the overall response in the beginning?
It was, nobody likes to be coach originally, right? Because, oh, I don't want to be coach because I think I'm great, right? But that mindset slowly went when people started seeing the benefits of taking the coaching approach in the organization, and co-workers seeing their managers change completely also. And now when we have these leadership programs, when we promote coaching, not just in the leadership programs, people see the benefit of what you can do with your own questions and your own thoughts. And now I personally, please, Anya, see, Anna, let me know. But it's positive, it's embraced, and it's enjoyed.
And who is it that there was a question here? Who can they rely on in the process? Is it HR or who do they sort of feel is their anchor in the organization?
I must say that we have really tried to not make coaching as an HR thing, because this is pure business for us. I think if we have people that can get better self-awareness, have a stronger confidence in what they're doing, which coaching is doing with people, then we will create much better business. So we are trying our best to get out of that, to be honest. This is not an HR product. This is, it's about people, of course, but it's an equal amount of business.
Yeah. And I just want to add, I see it's so great. They're so excited in the chat and in the Q&A, and or not in the chat because we have disabled the chat. And I'm sorry that I misled you that you should speak there, but apparently that is not open. And if it can be open, let's open it. But if not, then yes, just go ahead and chat in the Q&A. And there are lots of questions here, and I promise that I try to follow the discussion here along so that we can cover most of them. But I'm also curious, I mean, who are the clients for this then? Who are the most potential clients within the organization?
As Mahesh mentioned, from the beginning, our target group was leaders, but very quick we realized that is not the way to go. Today it's everyone, and I think it's amazing. I mean, since I started coaching in 2009, I meet people from all over the world, and mostly coach by phone, or nowadays in this way that we are doing it. So sometimes I have been having a coach relation with a person that I have never seen because it has only been by phone. And yeah, so it's anyone. And then, of course, as Mahesh mentioned, in our leadership program, we also recommend them to have a coach after the training, so to say. So that this is also, and then we do a couple of initiatives. It's more like now we are pulling ourselves together and really want this group of people to try out coaching. But it could also be just me as a person. I feel like I need some support. Then I connect with someone from our coach pool. And then you're doing it exactly as you do if you were an external coach. We first get to know each other, talk and feel, and talk about the goal. We even create an agreement, even if there is no money in it. But I think this is really, really important for us to be working as you would have done if you were an external coach.
Can you see, are there any trends that there are certain countries that are more interested in this than others?
Lately is Asia. It has exploded. they are really curious and interested. So I can sense that we need to also train coaches there, because right now I'm not sure if we have any there. It could be one or something, but we need more out over there.
Yeah,
It's
that's great.
It's not what I mean that they should coach in Asia. It's more like we want them to also be able to coach people in Europe, because there is also learning in this, because you learn when you coach. You learn other parts of the business because you're coaching. So there is so many different things that we can gain from having this in-house.
And often the matching is done like this, then the coach someone in another area of IKEA. And that's of course for the learning, but also it's easier to coach someone that's not in your environment. You don't know exactly what they do from day to day, and then you're often a better coach.
Anja, should we take a look at some of the types of coaching topics that you actually deal with, some of the issues that you deal with?
Yeah, there are many, and I think that's it's about the same topics that if you're an external coach. There is growing as a leader, there is personal development, there is coping with stress. It's often next step. You want to take the next step in your career. And it's also when you've done your next step to settle in your new role. It's also a lot of people who are stuck in different dilemmas. Then coaching is excellent for them. Relationships, getting more effective, broadening themselves and get new confidence in different areas. So I think pretty much the same as other coaching.
Mahesh and Anna, anything you want to add there?
Yes, what I also believe is very important when you have an in-house coach. For me, it's very important from the start to make them understand that we coach the whole person. Because if we don't come in with that from the start, then what has happened is that they say that, oh, this is not really about my work, but can I talk about that? So I really try in the first meeting that we have that you are a whole person and you are hang together. It's an impact on work when you are as your personal life and the opposite. So I think it's very important also to have a whole person in mind. Please, Mahesh.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate something, and I think it's important to stress because it links with the question we were asked earlier, what kind of standards we have. And I think Anja just said something. It's important that when we start the coaching dialogue, we follow the competencies that we have, but we're also clear in our organization that we are not trained therapists or psychologists. And so we also, I think over the years when I've been coaching, and I know my colleagues have, if we sense anything that kind of steers the person that maybe they might need that and it's out of our depth, then we're very clear to say, look, maybe coaching, we can do the coaching part for you, of course, but maybe it might be worthwhile you seeking help elsewhere. And of course, then we can refer them to the HR department, or we can, plant that seed in their head. So it's important to say that, we don't just say, hey, we're coaches, we can deal with everything. No, there is that standard, and that's important. And just bringing it back to the dilemmas, the dilemma now in COVID situation is an interesting one because people are working from home. So now that dilemma comes with insecurity. How do I feel? Do I want to stay? Do I want to leave? I don't know what's happening. So I think coaching now becomes even more important in our world than it has done before. And now that crosses across the leaders, co-workers, and it's going to be an interesting step going forward, certainly.
Very much so. Do you offer tailored coaching as well, Mahesh?
Tailored, no. And when I say tailored, I mean you establish a trust with your coachee or with your group, and then from there, I play a very simple, basic way of coaching, and it works wonders for me. However, depending on the nature of the personality, the person, their dilemma, I will open up that dialogue, saying maybe we should try this, or is there anything that you feel that might work better for you? Do you like my coaching approach? So I'm quite open to it, but first start with a basic standard, and then as the relationship grows and the trust grows, then maybe it might be tailored, but not often. No, I find it straightforward. I don't know what my colleagues have experienced. Please share.
What about you, Anna?
Yeah, I have to agree pretty much what you are saying, Mahesh. Yeah, that's kind of exactly my experience as well. So I don't think I have anything to add there.
Good. Well, let's look at some of the methods and styles and yeah, the different methods that you use. I don't know, Mahesh, do you want to start by just exploring a little bit, or Anna, maybe?
Yeah, I smile with this because I remember, because Anya was our trainer, and we have these meetings that we have every 18 months. And I remember when I first started my coaching journey, they taught us a grow model. So that's my baby, that's my go-to model, and I love it. It works, because you branch off from there. And then we had some more training where we had different techniques, where somebody sits in front of the chair and you sit behind. And I realized that I was eager to use those, but I realized that you can't introduce all those techniques because you're excited to use them. You can't, it doesn't work with everyone. The lesson learned was there are a lot of techniques we have, and we learned a lot from Tim Galloway and the guest speakers and from Anya and from each other. And they all have their merits, but you have to take the individual person. Not everybody wants to try something. So visualization is a strong one, is a good one that works. And I could be more daring, but I don't think I'm brave enough to be more daring because I feel the grow model works and maybe visualization works for me. And I seem to get results. So I'll stick with that and I'll wait a little bit. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Anna?
Yeah, for me, I think starting to use techniques outside the common coaching techniques, I really feel like I want to get to know my client before I start to do it. So I don't, I mean, so I understand what will make this person get going, so to say. But then one thing that is really always work, it's the changing perspective. I think that's so powerful all times. That has never not really worked. It has always worked, but understand another kind of perspective. And when they realize and that click, when that happen is amazing. And then of course also dare to be silent longer and also dare to ask for what you not hear, but you can sense is happening. That I think is really, really powerful as well.
Wonderful. Anya, are there any specific methods that you have developed just for IKEA and all of this, or?
There are quite a few, and we're going to share one with you today called the score model, or also the shop floor model. Can we please have a picture on that one, please? And that model is developed to help the client to do a task better in the moment. So you can use it when someone is organizing a shop floor or leading a meeting, and you do it there together with the client. First step is that you follow the client when he or she is doing a specific work assignment. That's a shadow part. So you shadow your client in the real moment, and you observe the behavior generally. Next step is the criteria. Here you ask the client, what are the most important criteria or criterias to do this assignment good? And then after that, you observe together with your client again when the client is doing the assignment, but with the criteria in mind. So you focus on this criteria. And then you reflect together with the client, how did it go? What happened when you had these criteria in mind? So you first ask the client, and then you also share your reflections as a coach. What did you see when the client did this? And then you help the client to create a new approach, a new way to experiment with the behavior in the situation. So this can be used in many different situations. We also used it in nuclear plants, where it was hard to coach sitting on a desk. So then we went into the plant and they used the score model when they did their actual job. So that's one model that is developed together with IKEA.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that with us. So those are some of the models that we use and some of the methods. And I'm thinking that we should talk a little bit about then the results and what it is that is really that we can really give to the clients. And perhaps, Anja, you have the perspective of all the different coaches and have received some input from what the coaches have said that they feel that they actually are able to help their clients with. Would you like to share some of that with us?
Yeah, we did a little survey and asked, what do you say that your clients get out of the coaching? And they said that they learn more about themselves, made them better leaders, clarity, new perspectives, energy to act on what they wanted to develop, clarity on goals and how to reach them, new ways to see themselves, more energy, more self-confidence, clarity when reflecting and hear themselves talks, insight and motivation, power to influence the situation, and energy and inspiration. So that was some of them.
Yeah, great. Mahesh, would you say that? Sorry.
No, continue.
Go ahead, Anja.
Yeah, I just ask is Anna and Mahesh, what do you want to add to that?
Go for it, Anna. I'll answer to you.
Yeah, I think what has standing out the most is this be brave and act. I think that's a great part of outcome, and that is of course connected to the self-confidence. But also not only feel better, you also start to act, and you know, the thoughts that you have been thinking for a long time is also start to happen something. It's not only thoughts anymore.
Yeah. It is the four letters that stand out to me when you know you're on the right path is or the feedback is that aha, okay, and you see the twinkle in their eye if you're not phone or you sense it, because as a coach you sense it with your ears and with your eyes, and you think, okay, now we're getting somewhere. And that is a really warm feeling, because you can see it puts a smile on their face. And when it puts a smile on their face, it puts a smile on my heart too, because you know the movement. So you see it, you sense it, and sometimes you physically see them developing in their careers too, or whatever their dilemma is.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, are there any specific success stories that we can talk about, and then we can talk about the hurdles and the challenges to get to this point? But it will be nice to just hear some of the stories that have sort of stuck with you over the years.
Who would like to start? Should I?
You can start, Anna.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no worries.
I believe that I have many in mind, but I have one, and that is that within IKEA we have a process how it is to become a senior co-worker. And of course, I had one client that has tried to go through the recognition meeting to become a senior 2 times and didn't really succeed. And then they recommend him, I think you need a coach or something. And then I met him, I think only 3 times. And then he went into a new recognition, and suddenly everything was he would just passed. And then they came to me and said, what have you done? I have done nothing. I just asked questions. And he has done the work.
That's nice when that works.
Yes, but it does most of the times.
Mahesh, do you want to share some success stories?
Yeah, same with Anna. There's so many. You know, you can't give names because it's at confidentiality with ICF, and that's fine. I think that's how it should be. But I had a client that was living in a certain part of the United States, and then we were starting a new organization in an undeveloped country that IKEA has never met, and she was getting frustrated with her manager, with herself, with her husband, and the cat and the kids. So it wasn't just that; it was a whole a whole heap of things. And I think, maybe I should have become a psychiatrist, but we took the coaching approach, and we broke it down into chunks. And, you can hear her breathing, thinking, okay, yes, this is it. And what I can share with you, she has a very good position in the new country and is doing well, is very happy. Her husband and cat and kids are all happy too. So that's a story.
I bet.
Yeah. And another very quick one was a gentleman that I started coaching, and then I kind of sensed saying, maybe IKEA is not for you at the moment. And can we talk about that? I said, look, my job is to move you, and then later on he said, but should you not try and keep me in IKEA? And I said, well, that's the whole thing about IKEA. You can leave and grow, but we want you to come back. And hopefully you will also share how we are as an organization with our people, that, we do take care of our people. It's important. So we want you to fly and grow, whatever. So there's many success stories, and they put success stories, and they put smiles on your face. So, yeah.
Yes, certainly. Thank you for sharing that. Anja, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with Mahesh and Anna that there are many. If I take the training perspective, one story that especially sticks with me is the store manager that said that he went from being Superman to be a coach when he adopted a coaching approach. And I've seen that happen many times. Sometimes as a manager, you think you have to have all the answers, know everything. But when you adopt a coaching approach, you don't have to be Superman. You can be a coach instead.
Fantastic. Now, let's if others are watching this and they are also interested in implementing things like this at their company, maybe we should be fair and share some of the hurdles and challenges and success factors that will actually be needed in order to reach the point that you have reached at this right now. So should we start with you, Anna, just to identify some of the things that must be in order to accomplish all of this?
Yeah, I think it needs to be really, what should I say, in line with what the company wants to do and how they want to act, and the culture and values. If they want really the people to be in lead and trust them, then I think having in-house coaches would be great. But then as everything, it's also with the trainings that we are offering and everything, to measure what's the difference. And very often our business colleagues wants to have KPIs. And then I get the question again, how can you measure feelings that make me feel more confident? How can we measure that? And I can say that we are still struggling with that, because many of our business colleagues really want to understand what is the difference if we have you as in-house coaches or not. And we have some engineers working for IKEA, and we will try out slowly some models if we can measure in what way. And I believe that many companies will have this challenge, because that's how it is. I know that to measure, then we know if there is an impact or not. We can't just go for, I think it feels good, it's much better now. Not everyone will just jump high and say, yeah, let's train 10 coaches then, because it feels good. So I think we're still struggling a bit with that. But I can say that if we take baby steps.
And I think that what I also hear you saying is that maybe it is needed that we have an overall buy-in from the management team at the set-go, so that we don't have to prove that last. I mean, we can prove things to a certain point, but there needs to be a certain leap of faith at the end that this is working. It makes sense that if people are feeling good, they will start to produce and work better, and then our clients will be happier, and then our organization will be more profitable and happier. So I think that leap of faith has to maybe be there, and that like you say, that it is in line with the overall values of the company in general. What are some of the other, sorry.
If the management also can dare to try out coaching, because very often when I meet manager, they believe that I coach my coworkers, but very often they just tell them what to do and they believe they coach. And I think that insight, when that land, then you also get kind of a take off.
Yes. Mahesh, and would you like to add anything to this?
Yeah, I like what Anna said, and she's right. We're still taking baby steps, and it sounds incredible to say that because we're 10 years coaching, but I think when you talk about business want results, right? And we get the results with the people we have, and more than often people focus on the key, the bottom line, if you can say it like that. But in order to get to the bottom line, you have to have people developing and growing in a good way. And with coaching, the coaching approach, when we initially started it, one of the hurdles we had was we wanted senior managers to coach senior managers. And they thought, yeah, but we don't want to be coached by these people. We want an external company to be coached by. And that's why we had to market it saying, but we are ICF accredited, we do follow competences, we do follow the trust model, you know. And then it took a while to get some senior managers to be coached by our coaching pool. And then that slowly started, you know, like a flower, but opening up slowly, saying, okay, John and Susan, the senior managers, they've been coached. I can see an effect on there. So yeah, I open my eyes. So it's been a nice, slow, steady journey. But maybe that's the way it's got to be. It's the same with mindfulness. We offer mindfulness on our programs, but mindfulness can be a resistance too. You know, I read a survey where there was a lady trying to introduce mindfulness in a law firm, and you know, lawyers. Pardon me if there's any lawyers there. But you know, that's all mamby-pamby. But she persisted and she tried, and then slowly, you know, a lot of the lawyers started mindfulness and became better lawyers for being peaceful. And it's the same approach we have here. You know, the developments come from good examples and promotion.
And I think also, if, as a large corporation like this, if many are taking small steps, and overall in the world right now, I feel that we are moving towards a more humanized and mentally sustainable corporate culture. I think that if we all take those small steps together, we are able to make a big difference in all of that. So patience with that. Anja, did you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I think patience, as you have said. There have been other companies implemented coaching, but they have done it and then left it, and then it has faded out. But at IKEA and other companies too, of course, they have really had patience and continue to develop and not giving up. It's been 12 years now, and you're still developing your coaching and your approach and how you measure and things like that. So this to continue to develop, I think that's important.
But how, Elizabeth has an interesting question here, because then, all right, so we can't measure it, but what does it look like when we succeed? I mean, how do you measure success if we can't measure it concrete? What is it the overall feeling just in the company that everyone feels that, yeah, this is actually, it does have an impact?
Anna, please interject, but we don't have the analytics to measure it, but in a manner we have it in one way. We have our development talks, annual development talks, and our regular one-to-one talks, and then you're measuring somebody. Okay, what's going on? Are you achieving? You know, and often, and hopefully, you hear, yeah, I've taken more of a coaching approach. I'm asking more open questions. I'm not directing. I'm not telling. I'm getting the person that I'm speaking to involved. So then you measure it you feel it in that way also. You also sense it on the shop floor, whether the shop floor is the actual shop floor in the store or in the office. You sense a slight more way, people asking the coaching questions, or somebody saying, are you coaching me now? You know, so we say it in a mocking way, but you think, yeah, okay, we're getting there. Not as fast as we'd like, but then speed we all want. But at least we're moving forward as opposed to backwards. So there is a form of ambience, good feeling.
But not as Amel is saying here, what is the return of investment of internal coaching?
Anna, I talk to my colleagues.
You are kind of pinpoint the hurdle we have. It is that show it. Because there is no KPIs. We will try. We will do a test in December to try out this, and then I can come back. But is really how can I measure that you feel better when you go to work and you produce more and you become more effective and you grow and you develop and you take more steps. It's really hard to show that on paper, but we can sense it.
Yeah,
so you
and going
very on to what's the biggest hurdle is.
Yeah. And I think also going back to some of the hurdles and to overcome, Lisa had a question here. IKEA has a reputation of being careful with money. How was the readiness to actually invest in coaching challenging? How did you overcome that? And how do you measure results? Yeah, results we've talked a little bit about, but the question is relevant here in terms of how does one get the buy-in to begin with?
I can say, as I said, it's not about being cheap. It's about being conscious about the cost. And to be honest, everyone that has went through coach training, you know what happens with you as a person. I mean, I can say I have paid back every cent. I believe that all us coaches has done that, both because I have developed just to become a coach, but also the impact that I can make on our co-workers by being their coach. And I think now also when it comes to COVID times, I think it's the coaching topics slightly different. There is more sensitivity in it, and I can say that some days I feel like I create better prerequisites for them to go through the day. And
if yes, Mahesh?
I was just going to say, in answer to that question and adding on to Anna, that remember originally why we began this at IKEA, because we had senior managers that we felt needed coaching, or it was a tool that we felt that we can offer them. So we went with external companies, which was the right thing to do, of course. And there's a cost implication to that. And then we thought quite smart, okay, we like this approach, what do we do here? So we started working with Anya and coach utbildning. And then we chose managers and said, okay, we will train you to be coaches. So in that respect, we now have internal in-house certified coaches. And then the practices that we share within the organization. So it started here, but we've been quite smart in how we've developed it. So we can't afford, of course we can't, because we're a business, we can't afford everybody to go out and pay for ICF certification. You're more than welcome to do that if you so wish. And we welcome you to do that. And where we can, we will try to do it. Each company has its own budget, and if it's allowed. But that's how we took the approach. We shared it from Anya.
Anya, I'm thinking too that some people might also wonder what are the success factor in order to set up a coach pool. What should one think about that from that perspective?
One thing that IKEA was clear of what they wanted, and they also were very open to listen to our experiences from other companies, and also to other coaching approaches. You mentioned Team Galway, for example. One way was to, as Mahesh has mentioned earlier, they interviewed the people who wanted to become coaches, so they were really dedicated and had energy for it. And then it was to spread information, which was also an important part, because you can have good coaches, but they need to coach also. Of course, to use it, but also to become good coaches. So to help them to get the possibility to coach is one important part.
Do you think there was a question earlier that I read somewhere about does this apply? I mean, IKEA is a big corporation. What about the smaller companies, and does coaching work within a smaller organization as well?
Yes, it does, and there are quite a few small organizations that also have internal coaches. Maybe not so many, but a few of them, and it works excellent.
Good. All right. I would like to, before we start, we take some questions from the audience as well. I would like to just understand you as coaches. I mean, How do you continue to stand strong in all of this, and where do you find your inspiration from? Mahesh, what would you say some of the main ways that you maintain your coaching skills along the way?
I think I'm very grateful. Since we started with Coach Opening, we have this 18-month meeting, so we get all our coaches internally, and Fleur Carter is looking. She's an Australian. She lives in Australia, but she looks after all of us coaches at IKEA. So she and her team bring guest invitees in, and also Anya is always present. So we always have that strong relationship with Anya, and I like that because she's a red thread, if I can say it. So we have these new techniques that are introduced there. We have these guest speakers that you all know. And then what we do have in this day and age, we have YouTube, we have books, and TED Talks. So there's a lot of inspiration in there. And of course, we have the ICF webinars too. So I try and keep myself up to date with what's going on in that sense. And I like it. So there's no excuse not to be a good coach today, to be honest.
No, there's quite a lot of information. Sometimes it's more a matter of closing all the input that one can get. So
you're right.
What about you, Anna? And can you tell us also the importance and support of the coaching network?
Yeah, I believe that both us as coaches, as we are networking and we talk about different tools and sharing those kind of things, but also I must say that even if it's really irritating and frustration every time you need to recertify yourself again, but I think it's good. It pushed me to be on my toes, and I need to do all those things, and also because I need a certain amount of different trainings. I need the mental coaching. I need to send in all the material to ICF. As I said, it's irritating, frustration, but it's also very good because it makes me I have to. And that's why I also think when you have in-house coaches, that the people around you understand that it's no difference. Just because I am under IKEA umbrella, I still need to do my recertification. And of course that at least keeps me on my toes, because I think it's very natural. We want to help other people, and we believe that we help people when we say what they should do, and that I think is really human and very natural. So for me, since 2009, that I really need to push myself to stand strong as coach and not start to tell people what to do. And I think that is really, really important.
And there's also a lot of talk about one should work with one's purpose and the why, and also we have a world that is in great need of better thinking and more present people. So what would what would your argument be in terms of how you with your coaching can actually make a difference in the world? Mahesh, should we start with you? Or Anya? Yes, please.
I think when coaches help people to become happier and more of what they want to be, they are better for people around them, and then it spreads like rings on the water. And I also believe that when we are aware of what is really important for us, we take better care of ourselves, and we take better care of others, and we take better care of the planet. And helping people to get aware. That's what we do as coaches.
Mahesh?
Yeah, it's a good reflection, Anya. I think when I was young, and I was young once, so don't let the hairstyle fool you, but it was, you're ambitious, you're driven and all this. And I would say in the last 10 years, my mindset is, I've always liked people. I've always enjoyed being around people. But I like parking a little seed in a person's head to seeing them develop. And I think the energy that I get is when I plant a seed in somebody who I see potential in or has a dilemma, and they're growing in a really sadistical kind of way. I say it with openness in my heart that when they're smiling, like I said, I'm smiling. So I get energy out of doing good for somebody else, So that's maybe a little bit of an ego thing, but it's actually a sincere thing that if I can make the world and the people around me happier and driven and moved, then then I'm a happy person. You know, I work for an organization that is a business. We're here to make money, but maybe in the last 10 years, I feel, okay, I'm not so bothered about the money at the moment. I want to let other people do that. So how can I support their journey through my experiences and my dilemmas and my observations? So that's how I see it.
Good.
For me, it is the strong belief in other people's capability, what they can do. And I think sometimes I feel a bit sad when I meet people and they don't have the belief in themselves. But to see that happen, I think that's amazing. And the thing is that I have so far never met a person that is capable on much more than they believe themselves. That can also cause naive, which has been called before I went to my coach training. But since I become a coach, it has been my strength. So for me, I think people are amazing. Wow, they can do so much more. So each and everyone out there, just so you know, you can do so much more. I know that.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I also think often when we talk about the World Health Organization talks about how the mental health issues that are now facing the world and that is one of the fastest growing threats to the overall health of the planet. And I think that one way that we can contribute to sustainable development in the world is actually just to help people feel better, because then they will have the energy to engage in some of the 17 other goals that are out there in order to accomplish a more sustainable development in the world. So yes, you're doing a very important job. I'm thinking I would like to sort of walk through some of the questions that we have here. I have my co-host Dennis, who is also there somewhere. So Dennis, feel free to jump in if you feel that I'm missing something here. I'm going to start from the top here. Some of them, and excuse me if I repeat things here, but we have talked about the criteria for selecting people to the internal coaches. A lot of people have said that they're interested in how can I best engage with IKEA. Now it switched to engage with IKEA in order to support IKEA as an external coach.
Right now I can start. There is a reason why we have invested so much in having in-house coaches. And right now we are also in the time where I believe that we are looking over what we are using our resources for. So right now I believe it's not the time. I'm sorry.
Yep, that's an honest and a good question. So we don't. We have another one here from Madeleine. Do the coaches take on individuals and meet several times, for example, regarding certain behaviors that needs to develop and or for a specific question? For example, I need to be a better at closing a deal. Who can coach me in this question?
There were so many different things in this sentence, but what I heard was I need, first thing is that you need to be, you need to want to be coached. That's the prerequisite for having that. And that of course can grow even if you don't go into a relationship where you want, but there it's up to me also as a coach to support them so they can see what they can get out from it. We are working as everyone else in ICF. We are making an agreement where we will meet the client at least 6 to 8 times, 1 hour, and then the topic that can differ. That you don't know. You of course discuss the goal with the coaching, and you look back to it when you are heading the end of the coaching relationship. But the topics I don't believe in forcing someone. You are not performing, go to a coach and you will solve it. I don't believe in that.
I think in this example, if the question was relating to something specific about negotiating, and then you think, okay, where does coaching come into that? And I think my opinion in that is that you you should maybe bring an expert in who deals with negotiations, but then enhance any specific topic you have in your organization with coaching. So you have a business and you have the person side of it. And I think together that will probably have a better outcome, because we're not here as coaches to be business oriented in specific questions. It's general, how can you make the move? That's my thought.
I'm reading through.
About the topic, the better coach I am.
Exactly.
Yes.
Say that one more time, Anna.
The least I know about the topic, the better coach I am. Because then
Interesting.
I can and asking and listen and understand and all those.
Another question from Susanne. Do you connect coaching to employee engagement surveys? Usually they are connected to reaching business goals.
Don't do that today because we're also looking over the employee survey right now in the speaking moment. But that could be one thing to add on to that one. Absolutely.
What about ethics? Have there ever been conflicts or interest with the internal program? What would you refer to external? When would you refer to external coaches? And I think there was another question earlier too about is there sort of a conflict between who to choose and so forth?
In terms of which coaches we should a person can choose? Maybe I'll try and answer it, and if I'm wrong, then please write it in. I'm happy to answer it. But we have an internal web page in IKEA, and it's called. So it shows all our certified coaches, and there's 60 of us at the moment, and each of us have a profile. So we give a little bit of a bio about ourselves and how we coach and what our values are, etc. And then if anybody wants a coach, so if a leader says, look, maybe I'd like a coach, or somebody recommends one, then we direct them towards this page. And then they can have a selection. And personally myself, when somebody comes to coach with me, of course, we establish a trusting environment. So the first session is more to get to know each other. But then myself, and I can share this, I'm quite clear to say, if I feel that we can't establish a connection, because you need to feel something internally, right? You need to connect with that person, because when you do, then you establish trust, and then the journey is more simpler and enjoyable. But if I'm not, I will say to the client that if you don't feel that I'm the right kind of coach for you, or maybe if I don't even feel that we don't connect, then I will help you find somebody from that coaching pool, because ultimately it's not about me, it's about them growing, developing. So then I think it's important we get the right person. And in that sense, it avoids this ethical side, do I need to be coached with Anna? I don't like Anna, so I'm forcing her. No, that's not the case, It is a comfortable journey.
And
Mahesh, can you, sorry.
I was just thinking about the sensitive topics. Of course, I sometimes know things that I shouldn't know, but as I am an international certified coach, I can handle that. So that always stays with me.
Should we just address, and very quickly, because we're running out of time here, but the confidentiality thing here, just to clarify that?
Yeah, again, before we start coaching, so if, for example, John came to me and said, I would like to be coached by you, or I'm looking for a coach, we'll say, okay, so then we have we share the coaching competencies, and we also stress some rules and regulations that what we share is confidential. So what you share with me, I will not share it with you, because we then we go over we need to abide by the ethics. If they want to share with somebody else, then they're more than welcome to, But from my side, I'll make it clear that this is not shared. So it's really establishing that trust. And then, like I said earlier, the journey flourishes if you can establish that.
Good. Now we have to wrap it up, unfortunately, but I would like to just end up with some key takeaways. But first, Mahesh, how does the IKEA see the future of coaching right now?
It's here to stay. And as Anna said earlier, it's baby step, but it's here to stay. And I would like to think, in another I would like to say in this current climate that it will just get stronger because we see the benefits of it for our people and our organization and the business.
Wonderful. Anja, do you want to just share with us some key takeaway? Now we get the slide that Anna, you're going to talk about as well, but maybe we can all sort of add to this picture.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. I think Anna can go with the slide.
Okay.
Yeah, of
Anna,
course.
let's hear some key takeaways and impacts.
Yeah, I think here is some bullets that we are expecting, having in-house coaching, the impact we expect to have in our organization. And, you know, all of you that are working in a little bit bigger company, you know, topics comes like this, and then it becomes something very important, and then it slows go down, and then it comes up. And it has been the same thing with coaching within IKEA. And I have to say that we have taken a turn now within IKEA the last years, where we have also trained a lot of business people, very much in purchasing development. And I can really sense that the coaching is taking up here again. And I have to say thank you to all my great colleagues out there in purchasing, because they have done a tremendous work. I have to say, even a better way than we had tried the last years. So something is happened the last 2-3 years that has made the coaching topic come up, the importance of it. And if we look on what we expected, the impact, if we look at these bullet points, what company doesn't want this?
Yes. Mahesh and Anja, would you like to add some key takeaways?
Coaching in organizations, you mean? Yeah.
Yes, or of what we talked about today, yes.
Yeah, I think be sincere, enjoy the journey, see the potential in people, because everybody has a potential. None of us are perfect, but try and find that the strength in somebody and the potential, and enhance it through coaching. But really enjoy the journey and be authentic with yourselves.
And I agree. And I just want to push that coaching makes a difference. It's hard to measure, but it really makes a difference. And I'm really happy that IKEA do this, and that they do it throughout, because the language becomes coaching. So everybody benefits, even the ones
Wonderful.
who don't get a coach.
Perfect. I think that's a perfect ending.